What if your biggest financial problem is not your salary, but the way you think about money? What if society trained millions of people to work hard for money, while the rich quietly learned how to make money work for them? Most people spend their whole life studying, working, paying bills, surviving month to month. And even after years of hard work, they still don't feel financially free. But rich people often follow a completely different path. And in today's video, we're diving deep into Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, one of the most powerful financial mindset books ever written. This book is not just about becoming rich. It's about understanding freedom, money psychology, financial education, assets, passive income, and the hidden habits that separate wealthy people from everyone else. So relax, clear your mind, and let's begin. Chapter 1: Two Fathers, Two Different Worlds. Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two father figures. One was his real father. Highly educated, hardworking, respected in society. But financially, he struggled throughout life. Robert called him Poor Dad. The second father was his best friend's dad. Less educated academically, but financially intelligent. He built businesses, created assets, understood money deeply. Robert called him Rich Dad. And both fathers taught completely opposite lessons. Poor Dad believed: study hard, get a secure job, avoid risks, work for salary. Rich Dad believed: learn financial education, own businesses, invest, build assets, create passive income. And this contrast became the foundation of the entire book. Because both men worked hard, but one became financially free, while the other remained trapped in financial stress. Chapter 2: The Rat Race. One of the most emotional ideas in the book is called the rat race. This is the endless cycle many people live in. Wake up, go to work, earn money, pay bills, repeat forever. And sadly, millions of people remain trapped inside this cycle for decades. Not because they are lazy, but because fear controls their decisions. Fear of losing security, taking risks, failure, judgment, uncertainty. So they continue choosing safety, even when they feel unhappy inside. The author explains: most people become employees forever because emotions control money decisions. Fear makes them work harder. Greed makes them spend more. And this cycle never ends. Rich people escape the rat race by building assets that generate income continuously. Chapter 3: The Rich Don't Work for Money. This lesson changes the way people think forever. Poor and middle-class people usually work for money. Rich people make money work for them. That's the difference. Most people trade time, energy, health for income. And if they stop working, the money stops too. But rich people focus on building systems. Systems that continue creating income. Businesses, investments, rental properties, stocks, digital income, royalties. This creates freedom. Because true wealth is not about earning huge income. It's about owning assets that continue paying you. Chapter 4: School versus Financial Education. The author asks a powerful question. Why do schools teach almost everything, except money? Children learn math, science, history, but rarely learn investing, taxes, debt management, passive income, financial freedom. And because of this, many intelligent people grow up financially confused. Some doctors, engineers, and highly educated professionals still struggle with money stress. Because earning money is one skill, managing money is another. The rich teach their children financial education early. They understand cash flow, investments, assets, taxes, entrepreneurship. And this knowledge creates long-term wealth. Chapter 5: Assets versus Liabilities. This is probably the most famous lesson in the entire book. Rich Dad explained wealth in a very simple way. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Simple. But most people misunderstand this completely. They buy expensive things believing they are becoming rich. Luxury cars, huge houses, unnecessary loans, expensive lifestyles. But many of these things continuously drain money. That's why people with high salaries can still remain financially stressed. Rich people focus first on buying assets, investments, businesses, rental properties, income-producing systems. Because assets create cash flow. And cash flow creates freedom. Chapter 6: The Truth About Job Security. Most people grow up hearing, "Get a safe job." And yes, jobs can provide stability. But the book explains something important. Depending on only one income source can become dangerous. Companies change. Economies change. Technology changes. And sometimes, jobs disappear unexpectedly. Rich Dad encouraged learning multiple skills: communication, leadership, investing, sales, entrepreneurship. Because skills create opportunities. And opportunities create independence. The author explains that many people become too comfortable and stop growing financially. Comfort often kills potential. Chapter 7: Fear of Failure. One of the biggest reasons people remain financially stuck is fear. Fear of losing money, making mistakes, criticism, embarrassment, failure. And because of fear, many people never even try. But rich people understand something different. Failure is part of learning. Every successful entrepreneur has failed many times. Every investor has made mistakes. Every wealthy person faced uncertainty. But instead of quitting, they learned. That's the difference. Poor mindset fears mistakes. Rich mindset learns from mistakes. Chapter 8: Why the Rich Keep Getting Richer. Rich people understand systems. They understand taxes, corporations, investments, leverage, financial strategy. Meanwhile, most people only focus on salary. And salary alone often gets heavily taxed. The wealthy use financial knowledge to grow money intelligently. This doesn't mean being greedy. It means becoming financially smart. Because money rewards knowledge. And financial education creates long-term advantage. Chapter 9: Passive Income is True Freedom. Imagine waking up and still earning money. Not because you are working at that moment, but because your assets are working for you. That is passive income. This concept completely changes lives. Passive income can come from YouTube channels, businesses, investments, rental properties, books, digital products. Rich people focus heavily on creating income that continues flowing. Because freedom happens when survival no longer depends only on your daily labor. Time becomes yours again. And time is one of the most valuable forms of wealth. Chapter 10: Many people look rich but aren't. This is one of the saddest truths in modern society. Many people spend money trying to appear successful. Expensive lifestyle, luxury brands, big houses, fancy cars. But behind the scenes, they may be drowning in stress and debt. The book teaches us. Looking rich and being rich are completely different things. Real wealth is often invisible. It's investments, savings, assets, peace of mind, freedom of choice. Rich people often stay financially disciplined for years because they care more about long-term freedom than short-term appearance. Chapter 11: Entrepreneurial Thinking. Rich Dad constantly encouraged entrepreneurial thinking. Not everyone must build a huge company, but everyone can learn to think differently. Employees ask, "How much will I earn?" Entrepreneurs ask, "How can I create value?" This mindset shift changes everything. Because wealth grows fastest through ownership. Owning systems, businesses, investments, intellectual property creates opportunities beyond salary. And even small side businesses can eventually grow into financial freedom. Chapter 12: The Emotional Side of Money. The truth is, money affects emotions deeply. Stress, fear, pressure, comparison, insecurity. Many people silently suffer financially while pretending everything is okay. They work jobs they hate because they feel trapped. They sacrifice time with family for bills. They postpone happiness, waiting for someday. But this book teaches that financial freedom is not about greed. It's about peace. It's about having choices. Being able to spend time with loved ones. Control your schedule. Reduce stress. Live with dignity. Sleep peacefully. That is real wealth. Rich Dad Poor Dad is not just a money book. It's a mindset book. It teaches us that financial education matters. Assets create freedom. Fear limits growth. Passive income changes life. And mindset shapes financial future. Perhaps the most important lesson is this: working hard alone is not enough. You must also learn how money works. Because true wealth is not about showing off luxury. It's about quietly building freedom. One day, you will either spend your life working for money, or spend your life building systems that give you freedom. And the choice begins with education. Not school education alone, but financial education. Because once your mindset changes, your future can change too. If you enjoyed this summary, subscribe for more powerful book summaries, self-growth lessons, and money mindset content. And remember, the rich are not always smarter than everyone else. But they often understand money differently. See you in the next video.